2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome into it. Happy Monday, man. We're ready to set the tone. It's going to be a fun show today. Plenty to cover and talk about from over the weekend. Your post at Valentine's Day. Today is President's Day. We'll get to some of that and talk about the holiday that it is. Mark Kwan will be on the program. Bottom of the hour. Pay smart, pay zero taxes. Top of the hour to kick off and talk about some of the holiday stuff. We'll talk with Richard Battle, Americans who made America. I love it. We'll have that conversation and a heck of a lot more. Make sure to like it out, share it out, leave that comment. Let's break the algorithm today for a Monday. Set that tone for the week. Hang tight. Here we go.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your Monday, greatest day of the entire week. We're ready to set the tone, do the thing. Carpe diem all over the place is how we set that tone. That's what we do here on the show each and every day. Welcome into it. It is the Voice of Reason. My name is Andy Hooser, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship, but we are all over the country on so many great radio affiliates doing the thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on the show. Hopefully you had a fantastic Valentine's Day weekend. I had some fun posting a laundry list of political Valentine's cards on my social media feed, which you can find at Hoosier Reason. It was great. There was a lot of fun, a lot of Democrat jabs that we took, lighthearted fun. We had a bunch of, I didn't even post a lot of them either, so we may have to do a little roll call of which one was the best one out of all. But it was a great time. Enjoyed it with the family and friends and got to recover just a little bit. Plenty to go on today, though, because it is still a holiday, so we'll get into that in just a minute. But first and foremost, Mark Kwan, bottom of the hour, he'll be on Be Smart, Pay Zero Taxes. It is tax season, so who's excited about that? Yeah. And we'll chat with him about tax season. Refunds right now, from what we've heard from the federal government, up over 10% on the total refunds given out so far. The One Big Beautiful Bill, the tax cuts, and the different tax changes that we'll see under the Trump administration going into 2026. So we have that to get to, and some really sad news today. Robert Duvall passes away today at 95 years old. That is, yeah, that's really sad. Thoughts and prayers to his family. I've been a big fan of Robert Duvall. I don't know of him making any crazy, wild political statements out there, so he's been one that's always been on my good list because, well, he just made really good movies. I've been a fan of his for a while with a lot of different things. So Robert Duvall passing away at 95 years old today, very sad, and thoughts and prayers to the family for sure. We're losing all the greats, man. As I get older, I start to realize that all of the great ones that I look up to, and well, maybe not look up to, but enjoyed their work with Hollywood or with music or whatever, then they're getting older, and it looks very strange. For those that like Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst, man, he looks very strange, and he's crazy radical lefty anyways, but he looks very strange. So I guess it's the changing at times, right? All right, we got a lot to get to. We got a guest right out of the gate here as we go to our...
Let's go to the Hoosier Media Hotline.
And I want to tie this in because it is President's Day today, formerly known as George Washington's birthday or Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and then they just kind of lumped it all in together as President's Day. But I want to focus on the issue today of leadership and the kind of leadership that we had in the past and the kind of leadership we're starting to see today. And I want to compare that from, let's say, someone like Donald Trump, that may be somewhat controversial, but I think has an authoritative figure. He's a business guy. He knows what to do, compared to what we've seen with, like, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, one of our favorite people here on this program, right?
I am
Maybe?
told
Yeah, there we go.
This is a garbage disposal.
Yeah, so we have that. Then we have the wicked, wild freedom fighters that are on the other side that are causing issues for the leaders because they think they're leaders themselves, fighting against the Gestapo and the tyranny in this nation. Did you see up in Minneapolis, one of the guys, a guy by the name of William Kelly, that was arrested for the invasion of the church a few weeks ago with, what's his face, the media guy, that he was arrested, he's been released, and is now calling for more of a quote-unquote revolution up in Minneapolis.
My name is William Kelly. I'm a combat veteran. I'm a patriot. I'm a lover of the Constitution. I'm an ally to my Black, Latino, and indigenous people. I will not stand here and be intimidated by Pam Bondi on her persecution of these patriots, of these freedom fighters, of these journalists who are brave enough to document what we're doing in this city. What is happening in Minnesota is a resistance against tyranny, a resistance against fascism.
The resistance against fascism. Well, you failed big time because ICE still got their job done, so yeah. Let's talk about leadership here for just a moment, shall we? Happy to have on the program. It's always great to get him on. He is the author of multiple books, including Americans Who Made America. Really happy to have on here Mr. Richard Battle. Richard, how are you, my friend?
Good afternoon, Andy. Thank you so much for having us back with you today.
Yeah, well, it's great. Happy I almost said Patriots Day. That'd be September 11th. But happy President's Day, because it is a great holiday, and I think it really does reflect on the type of leadership or lack thereof that we've not only had in the presidency, but just leaders in general, from elected officials to the average American that just rises up to be a leader of their time and be a beacon of light and actually show us the direction that we need to go. We've seen a lot of that throughout time, and then we've seen some not so much throughout certain times, right?
Well, that's exactly correct. And what we wanted to discuss today was, it used to be George Washington's birthday. From 1879 until 1970, George Washington's birthday on the 22nd was a holiday, and we had Abraham Lincoln's birthday on the 12th as a holiday. And then some person who thought they were smart decided to come up and put the two holidays together and celebrate all of the presidents.
Yeah.
Well, doing that diminishes the uniqueness and the GOAT that is George Washington, all of his characteristics, as well as Abraham Lincoln, because all presidents are not created equal.
Yeah.
And I believe we ought to celebrate George Washington's birthday and make sure our kids and grandkids know about his character and uniqueness, because without him, we would still be British subjects.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I'm glad you bring that up, because you're right. It almost waters down the meaning for the presidents and allows, the public education system to pick and choose which presidents they want to showcase and they want to talk about at that time. But we really need to showcase the ones that were great leaders and then not pay attention to or expose the ones that may not have been great leaders throughout time, because we've gone through waves, we've gone through the pendulum swinging back and forth one way or the other. But we really do need to showcase, and it's these small changes in society that a lot of people don't really notice.
Well, exactly. And just imagine what it looks like to a young kid. A kid, he's told that Washington's birthday is on the 22nd, but we're celebrating on the 12th. Now, what young kid do you know that would want his birthday celebrated on a different day than his actual birthday? And so doing that by itself shows a disrespect for George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, etc. So to me, I think we ought to have a holiday for George Washington. If the people who protested No Kings recently really wanted to protest No Kings, they would do it on February 22nd, George Washington's birthday, because he could have been king president for life, and he turned it down. He was the one that set the stage of No Kings for our country, and he gave up power willingly, and King George III said, if Washington voluntarily gives up the power, he will be the greatest leader of all time.
That's right. And I think that is why, by the way, Richard, as we hear about, the 1619 Project, we hear about all the founding fathers were a bunch of racists and white landowners and how it were built on the backs of slaves. And we hear all this negative rhetoric, especially running through our public education system. They've intentionally tried to demonize and downplay the importance of George Washington that kind of set the entire foundation for the country.
Well, yes, that's correct. And Washington wasn't perfect. We're not perfect.
Sure.
Only one man was perfect, and they hung him on a tree. And they want to focus on the negative. Whereas I believe, and I want to focus, as I do in this book series, Americans Who Made America, on the positive contributions. And it frosts my cake when I hear people who've never done anything positive belittle people who've done great things positively just for a few negative things.
Yeah. Well, they always like to showcase it, and they like to compare to today's age, right? We have completely different standards, completely different ideas compared to then when we're in survival mode. We're trying to build a nation. We have to do what we need to. Comparing it to today's morals and values, that's kind of a weird comparison, but yet that's what we get a lot from, again, not just radicals on the other side, but leaders in the sense of the ones that are educating the young generation.
Well, yes, and I think that gives those people the opportunity to define someone any way they want to. And that's a dangerous thing. And to me, I think it's so critical because our kids are not getting this in school, which is, again, why I'm working on this book series, because I want parents and grandparents to have tools to share with their kids and grandkids and share the story so they'll know about people who came before us and prove to them we can give them better lives. They can chase their dreams. They can do the things they want to do. They don't have to settle like these people who denigrate the country and denigrate our great people from the past want us to do.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Richard Battle. RichardBattle.com is the website, and you can see all of his books, including this one, Americans Who Made America. Talk about, is there a need, a hunger for the young generation? I would think that if I'm only getting negative on whatever particular issue, you got to stop and think, be like, wow, like you said, someone's not always bad all the time. Something's not always bad all the time. What's really going on here? Do you think the young generation, even with all their naiveness and not knowing about the real world because they're not being taught the real world, that there's a hunger for it to say there's something else that's missing here? I need to go and find this information.
Absolutely. I believe we all are born with this innate desire for freedom. You can see little kids, they want to do what they want to do when they want to do it. They want freedom. And we have to teach them how to fit into society, but the natural yearning is to pursue your dreams. And if government doesn't restrain us, that's what our forefathers did historically. I mean, they settled this country from Atlantic to Pacific. They gave us this great country. They invented things because they saw a need and they pursued it. They had a dream and they chased it. They didn't wait for somebody to tell them it was okay to do something. They did it. They acted. They didn't talk about things. They acted.
Yeah. It's a great point. Comparing it to today, let's do that for just a moment. I've heard different comparisons of Donald Trump being equated to Abraham Lincoln or Donald Trump being equated to George Washington when it comes to leadership skills like that. When it comes to leadership skills, do you see that similarity? Do you see Donald Trump saying we have probably one of the biggest, heftiest tasks that this nation has seen for a while to get us back on track, and by golly, we're going to defeat all the odds and go against all the odds to make this happen? Do you see those types of traits in Donald Trump?
Well, yes, and I believe he has a different style than I have. That New York style is not the same as a lot of us around the country have, but he gets things done.
Yeah.
I had a meeting in Trump Tower with his director of security 3 weeks before 9/11 because my company did business with Trump's organization. The director of security that day told me that at that time Donald Trump signed every accounts payable check.
Wow.
On Friday morning from 9:30 to 11:30. And the employees didn't want to hear the phone ring because he'd be asking them, why are you wasting money? Why are you not getting us a better deal? Why are you not taking care of this? He was hands-on leadership, and we can see that through things like his cabinet meetings he has every month that he has public on television. He asked for each of the cabinet members for their accountability. That's the type of leadership we don't normally have from a president of the United States. They think they're too big for things like that, and Trump does that, and I believe he gets better results because of it, despite some of the types of skills that he uses that we may not like, that New York style that he employs.
Yeah, it's a great point. He is definitely an interesting beast, a very unique one to say the least, especially for someone who's sitting in the White House right now. But I think that we are moving in that right direction and maybe setting a standard for some leadership qualities like we've seen back in the day, which has been unique and different and catches people off guard. And that's why America continues to be so great. Americans Who Made America, go check it out. RichardBattle.com is the website. Happy President's Day to you, my friend. I appreciate it. We're out of time, but we got to get you back on as you continue on with this series. I want to get some more updates on some of the greatness that we've seen throughout history, my friend.
Happy to do that. God bless America.
Hey, God bless America, and appreciate it very much. Richard Battle, RichardBattle.com. You can see all the great work that he has and so much more that's coming soon. Got to take a break. We got plenty to get to here for a Patriots Day and a President's Day and all the other holidays showcasing the 250th birthday of the nation.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, darn right it is. What's up? Welcome back into it for your Monday, setting that tone for the entire week, my friends, especially on a President's Day. As we move through a 250th birthday of the nation, I think we should celebrate all of these patriotic holidays because, well, why the heck not? We always should already, but, I mean, kind of something a little bit more special for the 250 this year, which is really exciting. We'll get back to leadership in just a moment. I have a clip that will blow your mind that happened over the weekend at the Munich Security Conference. And apparently there are some people that were there that I don't really understand why they were there unless they have some ulterior motives. We'll get to that in a moment. But everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results have been so dramatic, and they work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetites. But what if you're looking for weight loss and not interested in some of the painful weekly injections or some of the intense side effects that you can have? I want to tell you about my friends over at Lean. I actually today had to go down another notch on my belt because I've been taking it since the beginning of the year, and it's awesome. I would say that's a win, right? That's why doctors created the weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curbing your appetite, cravings, so you're just not as hungry. But Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. Doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for the frustrated dieter that's looking to lose at least 10 pounds or more, and we can get you started today. Go to takelean.com and use my promo code REASON, or you can start off with 20% off your order and get free rush shipping and add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com, use the promo code REASON, REASON, for your discount. Again, takelean.com/reason. All right, as we talk about leadership on President's Day, I keep wanting to say Patriots Day. I know that's technically September 11th after the whole issue there, but it's President's Day today, and leadership is kind of important for a nation to have proper leadership. That's why things get out of hand, a little bit wonky, kind of crazy over the Joe Biden administration, and why things seem to be at least upright and functioning a little bit smoother right now under a Trump administration. But when you have leaders that want to be leaders that aren't really leaders, then you get this. And again, I want to preface this as one of our favorite people here on this program.
I am told this is a garbage disposal.
I want you to think about the ulterior motives here for why Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is on a panel talking to the Munich Security Conference over the weekend, giving her input on a global scale when she's the one that openly said all the way back when that geopolitics and foreign policy is like the furthest thing from her understanding. And apparently it still is.
And should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is a...
We're over 10 seconds now, by the way.
This is, of course, a very long-standing policy of the United States.
No, what? What does that even mean?
And get your brake working so you can stop sometime.
I tell you, man, that is, you want to talk about the future leader of the Democrat Party. They have put AOC on the global stage, and there was an article, and we talked about this on the Weekend Syndicated program, that they have put AOC on the global scale because they want her really, really, really to be the next leader. And whether that's challenging Chuck Schumer in the Senate in 2028 or running for president in 2028, which right now shows that she's still somewhat of the favorite for the Democrat Party, that's who you have. The person that has no clue about foreign policy, that has no clue about what she says is geopolitics, and that took her 20 seconds for her to stumble around. One of the most embarrassing things. Now when you have Marco Rubio out there, and we'll play some of his clips later on, you want to talk about someone who knows exactly what's going on, what we're going to do, how we need to work with foreign entities, how we need to have stronger allies, what we need to focus on the global scale. And she's over here, well, would you support Taiwan if China invades? Well, I mean, it's been, well, if we could prevent it, that'd be great. Come on, man. Democrats, help me help you. We got to do way better than this, right?
I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck.
Wisdom words of the day. Mark Kwan coming up around the corner. Stay here for the Voice of Reason.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
truth, reason, and common sense. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
And this is why we do not want our allies to be weak, because that makes us weaker. We want allies who can defend themselves so that no adversary will ever be tempted to test our collective strength. This is why we do not want our allies to be shackled by guilt and shame. We want allies who are proud of their culture and of their heritage, who understand that we are heirs to the same great and noble civilization, and who together with us are willing and able to defend it.
Boom. I love that. That's a very strong statement from our current Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and all the other duties that he does as well up in the White House compared to the wannabe Democrat leader.
And should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is a,
Yeah.
this is, of course, a very long-standing policy of the United States.
Yeah, so well done. I'm at the big leagues. I'm at the big kids now, right? Come on.
I'm a big kid now.
Insane. All right, let's shift gears a little bit here, shall we?
Let's go to the Hoosier Media Hotline.
That's right. So, all right, we got to shift gears and talk about some taxes for just a moment. I'm sure that you're well aware that coming up at least by April, if you don't do it sooner, it is officially tax season. Oh boy, what can you expect this year? I have seen over the weekend, I saw a headline that right now, people who have already filed their taxes, which you are a little early on the boat, which I applaud you for that. Well done. Not very many people do that. So, hey, pat yourself on the back if you've already filed your taxes. But the tax returns are up over 10% this year so far with the one big beautiful bill. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. That's starting to take effect this year, but also with some of the rebates that Trump wants to give back and what we're doing, that the tax returns are up higher than what they have been in the past. What's it look like for tax season this year? What can we expect moving forward? And what are the best ways to get your taxes done? The guy right now with the #1 book when it comes to tax season overall, Be Smart, Pay Zero Taxes. Really happy to have back on the program, Mr. Mark Kwan. Mark, how are you, my friend?
It's great to be on the show, man. It's good to be on the Voice of Reason.
Well, hey, I appreciate you coming back on. It's always good to chat with you. First off, let's talk about the tax filings for this year. Were you surprised, or is it good news that we're already seeing tax returns higher than 10% than what we had seen the year prior on average right now?
You know what? I'm not surprised at all. Just remember, if you look back with Trump 1.0, he was doing incredible things for Middle America. He had way bigger tax returns back then. Middle America was doing better. All Americans were doing better financially, including higher tax deductions. It was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that reduced the income taxes for all Americans, especially Middle Americans. The big beautiful bill, it just extended those cuts because we were going to have a tax increase. The big beautiful bill was to continue what he was doing back in Trump 1.0.
Yeah, and permanentize it, right? So we don't have to worry about those any longer, at least those sets of taxes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have permanent tax reduction for middle income Americans. Yes.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Now, at the same time, January 1, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. We're only going to see things get better, right? Even if we don't get the tax refund as big, we get to keep more money in our pocket at the end of the day without having to pay into it in the first place. That's moving in the right direction, in my opinion.
Yeah, I remember I grew up in work in factories, construction worker. It just always bothered me when I used to put like a 16-hour shift into the factory at the ice cream factory back in Canada, and then you get your paycheck and you're like, wow, this barely got bigger. So yeah, we shouldn't be penalizing Americans for putting an extra shift in at their job with a much higher, big chunk of taxes. And certainly, being a server is a lot of work. If you're getting taxed on your tips. Again, you're nicer to the customers, you get more money, and the government takes more of it. It's just ridiculous. It's there's incentives in everything. You either incentivize good behavior and hard work with more money, or you do the opposite with taxes.
Yeah, Mark, why have we allowed this? Why have we been so complacent on this issue for a while? Today's President's Day. We're talking about some of the great leaders in history, including originally, which this was George Washington's birthday that we were celebrating at this time, and then it kind of get clumped in and just kind of centralized for everybody and every president out there. But back in the day, we really started a nation for starting a 3% tax increase on sales tax and not even having an income tax. And now we have corporate tax, income tax, sales tax, this tax, that tax. I mean, we're taxed to death and we're just complacent and we grumble about it, but we don't really do anything. Why have we allowed this to happen so much, Mark?
You know what? The government just does it very slow, and they add it a little bit at a time, so you're kind of hard to see it. I mean, there's hundreds of taxes. I posted something on my X and my Instagram recently. I mean, they tax you for walking your dog. They tax you for grooming your dog. They tax you if you have a gas leaf blower. They tax you if you have an electric leaf blower. They tax you for, I mean, there's literally hundreds of levels of taxation, and it's far worse than when you think. Let's say you go buy a TV at Costco, and you're thinking, oh, I'm paying my state and federal taxes. Oh, no. There's about 30 or 40 other taxes that are passed on to you, because all the buildings, all the taxes on the buildings, the commercial buildings, the taxes for the employees, the taxes for workers' compensation on the employees, all those taxes are on you when you swipe your card to buy a TV. Even a TV, about 35% of the TV is just pure taxation, and people don't know it. So you're paying far more than you think. And then when they can't tax us, they tax us through inflation. Inflation is just a hidden tax. It's just another way of stealing money. But again, that's why I legally teach ordinary Americans how to legally avoid taxes.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It kind of pisses me off a little bit, actually.
No, it does.
So,
You're right. Let's talk about that a little bit. We've talked about it on the show before, but with your book, but a great way to just not have to pay these taxes and to battle against this system, because the system's been set up against us, unfortunately, and we just kind of complacently go along with it. We're slowly moving in the right direction, but give us summation. How in the world can we get around the system and actually not just fund the government for our entire life?
Yeah, I think the first thing to realize is that all the source of financial education for both CPAs and financial advisors comes from a private company that's funded by the bank. So you think your financial advisor is giving you good advice, or even your CPA, they're just giving you advice that they were taught to do, which is fund retirement accounts. That's ridiculous. Retirement accounts? Are you kidding me? It's just not created for your benefit. So tax deferral doesn't work. It actually makes things worse in the future, because I know I have a huge financial education school and a tax consulting company. But the strategy that anybody can use of any income is they can buy assets, never sell them, they never pay capital gains taxes. When they take a low-interest loan from that asset to buy another asset or even pay their expenses, they may pay a small interest of, let's say, 5%. They avoided paying income taxes, okay? So if you had to earn the money, you could pay, 20 to 30% or 40% or even 50% in income taxes. When you take a low-interest loan, you avoid having to work, and you didn't pay income taxes on that money, okay? So this is a strategy that I've taught to over 600 ordinary Americans, and we're actually teaching it to homeschool kids. Our youngest student is 9 years old.
I love it.
And they're between the ages of 9 and 18, and they learn it very, very quickly, because they haven't been brainwashed by Wall Street and big government to think a certain way. So their parents are struggling with it. The kids just jump in right there, and they learn it very quickly.
Yeah, that's really impressive. Well, I'm glad you're getting young. I mean, we need to go young. We need to start, like you said, re-educating, if not educating for the first time, the young generation on how to do things properly, because we've been conditioned, like you said, just to accept the way the system is and just go along with it instead of trying to break that course, which is very difficult, I think, for people in the older generations, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. If you've been taught to, it actually starts when you're a child. Let's go back a little bit. So the banking industry figured out how to basically set you and your family up to fail. They figured out to sell you 5 products. Just human beings, if they buy 5 products from a bank or financial advisor, they call it stickiness. They want to create the stickiness. So they take your kids and they go, hey, you need to save money and get good credit. They go, oh, that sounds harmless. So you save money, you get up a checking savings account. Now, banks getting wealthy immediately because they're investing your savings. But you're thinking, oh, I need to save money. They say, get good credit. They go, oh, get a student credit card. Oh, nice. It's free. There's no charges on that thing. Well, they take it. They sold you 3 products. All they got to do is get your little Roth IRA and then maybe a car loan. They sold you 5 products. You'll go back to them for your financial education for the rest of your life. They've done huge studies on this. So when you think you're like taking your kids to the bank to get a checking and savings account and you're not doing them harm, you're doing irreparable multi-generational harm, because the bank's going to sell them 5 products, get you a retirement account, get you a 529, get you a Roth IRA, get you 2 more credit cards, and then you're done. You're cooked.
It's insane. We're talking with Mark Kwan, author of the book Be Smart, Pay Zero Taxes. You can find that on his website, on Amazon, other places as well. Mark, we got just about a minute left as we wrap things up, but economic outlook for the year, and especially as people are going through their tax season this year, are you optimistic that while we still have a long ways to go and we could do a lot of different reform against big bank and big banking institutions, are we going in the right direction, and are you optimistic about the way the economy is going right now?
I'm incredibly optimistic about the economy. I knew that for the United States to do better, we need massive amounts of energy. Everything runs on energy. There's a correlation between energy and wealth in all countries in the world. Whoever has the most abundant, cheap energy builds the most wealth around the world. The United States is investing heavily in energy. That's going to turn into profitability, which means we can build factories, bring artificial intelligence back to America. And just wages are going up across the country. Inflation is dropping, and wages are actually beating inflation. And that's a lot of work that's been happened in just a little over a year. I'm kind of amazed that Trump has been doing all this and stopped all these wars and done all these things all at the same time.
I tell you, the golden age of America, as Donald Trump says, is right around the corner. And you're right, inflation's down to a record that we haven't seen since March of 2021, and wages are up. So we can hopefully get back on track after the 30% inflation cumulative that we saw under the 4 years of Joe Biden. So go check it out. Mark Kwan, Be Smart, Pay Zero Taxes. Got to get you back on the show again real soon, my friend. I appreciate all the info.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Always great conversation. Got to get Mark back on again soon. One more segment around the corner for your Monday. Stay right here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, DC's broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
As you know, I'm always looking for a good snack, but it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives. But now that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. I promise you'll be addicted. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Man, I got to say, I really enjoy the guests that we have on this program. Thinking outside the box, doing things a little bit differently. I really enjoy that. Thanks again to Mark Kwan coming on the show. Great conversation. Be smart, pay zero taxes. You can find his book on Amazon, his website, other places as well. We'll get him back on as we get closer to tax season again very soon. By the way, I want to tell you about my friends over at Americans for Prosperity. They are absolute rock stars, and they are helping curb the conversation when it comes to policy here in the United States, especially when it comes to health care. I want you to go to a website at personaloption.com. Personaloption.com. You can sign up. It's completely free. As Congress is working on an alternative to Obamacare, working on some health care fixes at the federal level, we need as many personal options as we can, right? Options from multiple different carriers, multiple different insurance providers, multiple different whatever. We want to see the options. We want choice, free market, laissez-faire capitalism, baby. It's what it's all about, right? It's what we do on this program. Supposed to be what we do here in the nation overall, but we've kind of gotten away from that. Nonetheless, go to personaloption.com, completely free. It allows you to see exactly where we're working to put pressure on elected officials and what you can do to be part of the change, to change the healthcare system, get away from Obamacare, and create more options in the private market for yourself, your household, your business, whatever. Go to personaloption.com with our friends over at Americans for Prosperity. All right, we got a few minutes left here. I am still following the story, if you have not heard, breaking news today.
What's trending today?
About horror at a hockey game, a child's hockey game that was in Rhode Island just recently as a gunman opened fire in the stands. A young girl has been killed, 4 people injured before the shooter himself has been killed. I don't know any other information about that as of right now. It happened relatively recently, just a few hours ago, so we don't know a lot more than that other than it was a child's hockey game, and now a little girl is dead, 4 others injured before the shooter was taken down. So thoughts and prayers to everybody. What the hell's wrong with people? It's a sick world out there, man, and it just reaffirms the fact that we need some self-defense. We need to be able to carry, or we need to be able to protect ourselves, and realize there is a serious mental health problem in this nation for people to think that, especially at a kids' event, let alone anywhere else, that this is the justified response for some type of action when you open fire at a kids' hockey game, whether it got exciting about the game itself or personal reasons or just a crazy, wild person that thought that they wanted to cause harm, then it's sick. And thoughts and prayers to those individuals. But a shooting at a hockey game in Rhode Island just happening earlier today.
What's trending today?
That being said, talking about sick people in the world, we have officially, and I guess you can pat yourself on the back, we now have all of the Epstein files released. The final 3 million documents were dumped by the Department of Justice this weekend on Valentine's Day. I think ironic for the love or the pretend love that we see of what the hell was going on down at Epstein Island when all the documents have been now released. Apparently, and I cannot play the audio because Alex Jones, the radio host podcaster, was on a different show talking about some of this, where his quote-unquote contacts that were talking about what happened. Apparently, Donald Trump was so sick of hearing about the issue, he finally threatened to fire everybody unless they actually released all the documents. I don't care what they try to say about me. I don't care what they try to say about Melania. I'm tired of this hanging over my head. Do it and do it now. And boom, 3 million documents are now released public, and we can start seeing what's actually in them. What we've been hearing, according to elected officials, and we can now begin reading them ourselves, but from Anna Paulina Luna, from Tim Burchett, from other elected Congress people, that the things that are in these files are absolutely insane, disgusting, and not to defend Alex Jones a whole lot, because he's got a completely different style on the radio than I do. You know, we're a little bit more rational. He's a little bit more on the shock jock style. But at the end of the day, he's been right about this for years, and I think a lot of people owe an apology to people like Alex Jones. Just saying. And as we go back to the Munich Security Conference from over the weekend, for the first time, someone caught up Hillary Clinton on the issue of the Epstein files and called her out on it during a panel discussion.
We've been talking about Western values throughout the conference, and Madam Secretary, I'd like to ask you, I'm the mother of a daughter, and it absolutely horrifies me to see what the Epstein files have brought out. And I wanted to ask you, what does it say about Western values when Western leaders have perpetuated and participated in these horrific abuses of minors and girls?
Thank you very much. We have gone everywhere from New Start to Epstein.
To the last question, it's horrifying, and we're hoping that there will be continued release every day that passes. That doesn't mean, as our news commentators say every day in the United States, it's because someone's name is there they committed a crime. But I think
I smell the desperation. Something's coming. I'm telling you, it may have taken longer than what we anticipated, but the transparency and the non-covering up of issues, or at least releasing documents in transparency, Donald Trump's administration doing it more so than any other administration. Back at it again tomorrow. Until then, we'll see you back on the radio soon. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason, along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at